Welcome to the Heavy Lifts podcast. This is the show for those who seek opportunity and embrace the risk to build it. I am your host, Nat Borchers. You can find me on backlinerealestate.com if you want to find out more about what my team and I are doing in the Salem, Oregon community. Welcome to Heavy Lifts. I am just so excited to have our friend and a tenant of mine and a really awesome dude on the show, Ricardo Antúnez. But before we get into Ricardo and your story, bringing AJ Nash back into the fold, which is awesome because
he's our connecting point.
Yeah, he is a connecting point because we had him on. We didn't have him on for the Blackburn interview, right? And we're having him on now. And it's just so fun because majority of my days are spent in the morning talking to AJ, and he talks like more than I do, and now I get to talk more than he does. So it always makes me happy.
It's kind of weird to see him quiet right now.
I know it's and he just
taking a lot of restraint.
You can just see, there's just processes and things happening in there. The hamster's on the wheel. So yeah, AJ, what do you have to say for us this morning?
I'm just grateful that I got invited back, Nat. But I look forward. No, I look forward to digging a little deeper. Like, my love for Ricky is high, right? My appreciation for what he does in a lot of different areas of life is high. But because I transmit more than I receive, I'm very excited to learn a little more about the history.
This show is actually equal parts like interviews and psychological help for AJ.
Okay.
So he just sits there and listens, which is unusual. Ricky, welcome to the show, Ricardo Antúnez.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate the seat here today. So looking forward to chatting it up.
I mean,
heavy lifting.
It's heavy lifts, and the reason we call it heavy lifts is because when you're an entrepreneur like yourself and you're going out every single day, you're trying to achieve big things, and it's not always easy. You need a team. You need to have lots of good communication. You need to have events. You need to have experience even. So you own Pura Vida and Chicha, those are both amazing restaurants. I love Chicha. I love the beer. I'm glad you brought some beers today.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're going to crack them at some point in time. I can't wait to hear that sound. I want to go back in time and talk origin story though for you. I've talked a little bit about with you already, just about your mom and that relationship you have. So I'd love to go back there for our listeners and just get the party started with your love for food and where it all started there.
Yeah, no, I mean, so I'm a California kid. So I was born and raised in near Sacramento, a little town called Ileton. Probably 500 people live there. Okay. Right on the levee system. Fishing for crawdads when I was 7. Putting my toes in the water, trying to hope I got some crawdads with my toe fungus and stuff.
Oh, that sounds like fun bait.
Yeah. No, but it was just it was a different type of lifestyle down there. My mom bought a restaurant when I was 11 years old, and in the town next to us called Rio Vista. The claim to fame for that town is in the 80s, Humphrey, the humpback whale, got stuck there.
Oh.
And she got stuck there, and she was there for 4 days. Just way off her normal path. Mm-hmm. She's not a river whale. She's a humpback whale.
Right.
And so she got stuck there. It was a big deal. She made it back to the bay, made it back to the ocean, then came back a couple years later and had a baby with her. So that was super cool. That was kind of like our little claim to fame in our little town.
No way. This is we're going back to the 80s, right?
Yeah. Definitely in the 80s. So that little town, Rio Vista, I went to high school there. My mom's restaurant was there.
Real Vista?
Rio Vista.
R-E-A-L.
Yeah. Okay. Riverview in English, but Rio Vista.
Okay. R-I-O.
Yeah.
Rio.
Okay, Rio Vista.
Okay.
Grew up there. It was a very much hardworking town. A lot of sheep herders, a lot of construction, a lot of levee building, a lot of agriculture. So it was a very, very hardworking town. And started slinging burritos at 13, 14 at the high school to the teachers and to the students. So yeah, that was kind of how I grew up. And
Wait. Did you pack these in a backpack?
in a little backpack, and I would take them up to the office, and I would check with the principal first. And he was like, "Hey, I got like 10 of them. Can I?" Like he's like, "Yeah." And then right there in the office, all the admin, would probably buy like 4 or 5, and then I'd walk down the hall and just, they know who I was, and they see me walking through, and I just boop. $5, boop, $5.
No way.
Yeah.
And were they like just different types of burritos, like chicken and beef?
Just one time. Whatever it was that day, that's what you got. There was no time to be doing, because I had to get to class.
Oh, yeah.
So this was a walk from the principal's office to my class, which was.
Okay, wait. So wait. Was Mom aware of this
Oh
burrito campaign?
yeah. She was the one who forced me to do it. I didn't want to do it.
It's for the family.
It was for the family. She's like, well, if you want those shoes that you've been talking about, and you want to play that sport or whatever, like you gotta
Allowance.
You gotta hustle.
Yeah, so I'd probably be pushing 100 burritos a week just at the school. Whoa. I mean, that's pretty big, heavy lifting right there.
Yeah, that is
Right?
Yeah. I was so embarrassed, but at the same time, like by my junior year, it was just like, whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm just the guy now. I'm the burrito guy.
Burrito guy. So what was Mom's like initial business plan? Like, what did she?
She had no business plan. Okay. This was she was a server for this restaurant, and this owner bought this defunct restaurant in our town, and put my mom in charge to run it. Well, because she lived there, so he lasted about 2 years and saw that it wasn't really like fruitful for him, and kind of offered it to her in payments.
Okay.
And so, thus again, the burrito slinging, right? we gotta make this happen, right? We gotta pay off this debt to this individual, and we gotta make sure like now it's ours. So the child labor thing, was a real deal.
Mm-hmm. What was the name of this restaurant?
Taqueria Mexico.
Taqueria Mexico.
Yeah, 133 Main Street.
Okay.
Still exists in the family. My mom now lives here in Dayton, but she ran it for 20 years. 20 years on the dot. So, but the thing was, there was always a sibling of mine to help. And after the last one left to college, which is my sister Melissa, who helps us at Chicha Brewing, there was nobody there to help her. No grandchildren, nobody. We were all up here. And so yeah, it was just kind of time to go. It was time for her to kind of like figure something else out. And so we figured out something for her up here in Dayton. And she has a little shop now called Juanita's. And I help her run that, in some shape or form. But, she's kind of her own woman. I kind of can't get too much in the way. But yeah, so high school was great. Was a lot of fun. Culinary was kind of the thing I did really well. I, obviously worked at the restaurant, but every summer, it would happen like clockwork. Last day of school, like I would ask for something, and then my mom would blow me off, and I'm like, you know what? I need my own money. I'm leaving, and so I'd leave, go work at a hotel in like close by, or a golf course, and so all summer, just 40 hours a week, whatever position I was at. One time, it was called the Wright Hotel. I was 16 years old, walked in as a prep cook, left that summer as the executive chef, which was nuts.
At 16?
At 16.
Get out of here.
So me and my friend, who was older than me by a year, we were running this hotel, like banquets on Sundays, brunch, any parties, dinner service. It was wild. And this is a beautiful hotel on the river, kind of very old Art Deco-ish. Yeah, the parties that we would throw in the pool in the back, though, I mean, that's the thing is like you can't give the keys to the place to a 16-year-old and not expect problems, right?
So you had some ancillary benefits.
Yes.
Okay.
So I would hire like my friends, and so it was literally these children running this hotel, and we would just like have these pool parties on Saturday nights.
I've got so many questions. How are you able to at 16 run? Be an executive chef of a restaurant, your friend runs the hotel, you do events, and you can't even like legally drink alcohol.
Yeah. There was a lot of drinking under the table for sure in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, we weren't. We were not fit to do the job. But we did it for the summer only.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. As soon as school started, I was just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I got to go back to high school.
So, did you clear a decent amount of money? Because I'd imagine
Yeah,
those
I
titles,
mean,
like,
a
you're
little
you're
bit.
making more than your buddies,
I
right?
probably got paid a lot less than I should have
Okay, yeah.
because of my age.
Yeah.
But you drank it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a new truck. Is all the things a teenager wants. Brand new shoes, a truck. You had the girlfriend and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Those are good times. Good times. And then so that was kind of my experience besides the restaurant. So every summer I was just like another position somewhere else, right? Just kind of building up the confidence and the knowledge that I could get in that little community, because there wasn't like these high-end restaurants anywhere. So those were the closest things I could find. But yeah, it was really, really fruitful for me because I learned a lot. I learned a lot how to run things, how to manage people. Even though we were all kids, we made sure every Sunday brunch at 7 a.m. we were ready to roll.
Yep.
Every banquet was ready 30 minutes before. Every dinner service, I had to make sure the line was ready 30 minutes before we were ready to roll out with dinner service. All those things I learned, and a lot of those things were instilled from my mom early on. So, I mean, I had 4 years of prior experience of getting yelled at by this lady, to make sure I had my shit together. And that was fruitful too. Now I look back and it's just like, without her, I don't think I learned and I can grow as quickly as I did. And so went to culinary school in San Francisco right after high school, literally 3 days after high school graduation.
So
I was already at school.
You knew at that young age, because I mean most young people, most kids out of high school, they don't know what they want to do in life.
Yeah.
Like, I know you didn't know what you wanted to do with your life. I certainly didn't at that stage in life. How did you know that being a chef was like what you wanted to do?
So it wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. It's just what I was really good at. Right? Money and finances was another thing that I really liked and enjoyed doing. I did get an internship at the Federal Reserve Bank through my economics teacher. I never went, never did it. But he got me in, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you could do really great in that field, because just the way you talk and the way you kind of could be organized, that could be something that you really get into." And but yeah, it's just I was really good at this. And I was like, you know what? The best school in most of the country, besides CIA in New York, is in my backyard. Why wouldn't I just go here, right? And do what I'm really, really good at,
Take it to another level.
and take it to another level, right? And sure enough, yeah, first day of school, super nervous, but the foam rises to the top, right? So it's just like I did really well in school. It was like a 2.5-year program. I finished in 13 months. So my 18th birthday had just happened, and I was already graduating culinary school.
So you have to forgive me for not knowing this, but I've never been to culinary art school. And I just have it in my mind that, you have a lot of students who are, have these recipes, right? And they're making things like every single day, right?
Yeah, no.
And is it kind of like everybody's in a room?
Culinary
baking,
school
or
is
how's it?
very much everybody's green at the beginning. Like, they're teaching you how to dice. They're teaching you how to boil water. They're teaching you all the real basic stuff.
Okay.
And it's all with French technique. So some things, there's French chefs that only speak French, and they're talking to you, and you're like, what did you say?
Child-size stuff.
Yeah, and it's just it's really cool, and to really be part of that, right? And because I learned a lot from them, because obviously I was just a little Mexican kid that knew how to chop really fast and dice really fast, but I never had the right size. I didn't have the things that mattered, right, to a person with a big hat. And so that quickly I was able to like pivot real quick. I was like, all right, well, I'll take an extra second and do it right versus just doing it fast. And so I learned a lot there.
How do you shrink that program in half? How do you do it in 13 months? You just
I doubled up. Yeah, so I was working out there during school, and so it was so I started at 7 a.m. I would be done by like 12-ish. They take a 30-minute break to flip over the classes, and then the next class starts at 1, and then you're done by like 4:30. So I would be done by 4:30, 5 o'clock, get a bus down to the Cliff House, down Sutros Cliff House, down at the beach in San Francisco, and then start my shift at 6, and finish my shift at 11, and then I would do that again 5 days a week.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So you were just you were.
But when you're
energetic.
17, 18, you got energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And
that's-
so,
yeah.
and that was even a cool experience in itself, working at the Cliff House at that moment, because I was part of the opening team. So they had regutted it, they redid it, they put a lot of money into it, and I was able to get a position there, even though the chef knew I was not qualified at all. But he gave me a chance, and he didn't really have me in any one position. I just kind of floated. So every week I did something different. Some weeks I'd be garde manger, sometimes I'd be sauté, sometimes I'd be banquet, and then just kind of random.
utility.
Yeah, I'd be the utility guy. So I got to learn a lot of things in a short amount of time there, which was pretty awesome. Coming out of culinary school, you don't even get those kind of experience.
Yeah.
I was barely in culinary school, and I was already getting those kind of experiences. So that was really cool. Wow. So finished. I was 18 and a half maybe. And then just didn't want to be in the Bay. Didn't really want to be home. So I was like, I took an internship at Belize at a private island to try like the private chef thing.
Yeah.
Did that for a little bit in San Pedro. There's a private island called Cayo Espanto. Great experience. I was there for a month. Chef took like a 2-month vacation and left me alone. And just kind of was like, you figure it out. You know what you're doing. And I'm like, well, fuck, bro. Like, it was like, and so it's just every time, like I was trying to find somebody to help me, teach me or whatever. It's just like, no, you kind of know what you're doing. You just kind of do it. And then,
When you say this, when this happens 1, 2, 3, 4 times,
Yeah.
you could say it's happenstance. But when it happens consistently to you, there's some confidence you're exuding that people trust you.
Yeah.
Even at age 16, you were doing that, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a common denominator, which
Yeah.
everyone's given you.
and
this.
then we'll keep going. And it's like literally.
What do you think it is? Why do you think people gave you those chances when they don't normally give?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I just number one, I feel like the drive that I've always had early on, not trying to fail, the fear of failing, right? Because coming from Mexican culture, the fear of failing is more consuming than anything else. It's it's the guilt that your parents got here, and this is all you're gonna do,
Got it.
And so, that's kind of the guilt that you got to feel, and that you feel as a Hispanic second generation is like, I've done all the heavy lifting, and this is only as far as you're gonna go. It's like you got to go further than me.
Well, part of it's where's the failure, and I mean, shoot, I have a 12-year-old. I'm trying to instill some things in right now, but like getting up, doing that 7 a.m., doing that circuit till 11 p.m. When people hear that story and they see it repeated, or they in your resume talk to you about that story, often, right? You screw up a menu item, you can recover.
Yeah.
You don't show up to a shift, you can't really recover.
No.
And so you knew what things to not screw up.
Yeah, exactly. Because just being around it so early on and seeing other people's mess ups
Yep.
kept me from like doing those mess ups, right? So, it was a really fun experience. I got to be there for a while, and then Hurricane Katrina happened, and I had to bounce. It was just like this little island next to a little island. I was like, this hurricane's gonna take over. And I was
Well,
like,
but that's a point in time. I remember Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you're at Hurricane Katrina, you're bouncing from Pedro. What's next?
yeah, I go to Mexico, visit my dad. So I'm in Acapulco for a little bit, a couple months. I see the news, all that stuff has happened. I'm like, wow. And he gets me a gig for like a couple days at a really nice hotel there. I learned something else there. It's just the whole brigade is a real thing that they taught you in school. Like literally the one guy is only making the 2 dishes and this guy's only doing that. And then the chef's yelling at everybody, like, holy shit, this is real. Whereas in San Pedro, it was me and the chef and then a dishwasher, and that was just, we were just doing everything for 10, 15 people at any given time, sometimes just 2 people, and you were just like, okay, whatever you want, I'll make, it's kind of a deal. But it also, was another level because, I had to put on my chef coat. I had to go present a menu to them, had to talk about the menu to them every day, to every house and take the order. And then, I learned a lot about wine even at a young age. There I could drink, which was pretty cool. because I had to do wine recommendations for every dish I had to do.
Yeah.
So they were bringing in some really cool stuff in from France, which was like, okay, Chateaubriand, yeah, I guess I'll open that and try that out and see what we could pair that with.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
what a
Chateauneuf
life.
de Pop, and yeah, it was really cool.
I guarantee you that at that moment in time, you knew that the Fed was not the right decision. That you knew.
Yeah. I was having a lot. I was having a lot of fun. I was being able to be really creative.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think kind of really kept feeding the fuel, right? Because some of those days really did suck.
Yeah.
You know, it was super hot, sweating. You know, some customers are just being super extra, and you're like, I'm ready to throw this plate in your face, kind of a deal, right? But you know, that's you got to take the good and the bad, you know, and that's kind of keeping your head level was always a big deal. Because my mom wasn't very level-headed, so I always had to be the voice of reason for the house. So it was just kind of like, you know, it was very much instilled in me early on. So just keep it calm, keep it cool, you know, we'll figure it out. And so came back home after that and just didn't want to be home. Didn't want to be in Rio
Just
Vista.
back in the Bay Area.
Yeah, back in the Bay Area.
Okay.
Didn't want to be home.
Yep.
19-year-old kid just kind of was like, I don't know, I don't want to be here. And so I convinced my mom to buy a house up here in Oregon. And
Why
we bought.
Oregon?
So it was either Oregon or Phoenix,
Yeah.
or Portland or Phoenix.
Yeah.
That was the new up and coming like area in Arizona, and Portland was up and coming. And Dina had just gotten Restaurant of the Year, and I had just heard about that, and so it's just like, all right, cool, Peruvian food. I had to cook Peruvian food in the past. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna try and work there, and so I did. And so I came up and I started there for a little bit.
I didn't know you worked at Antina.
Yeah, it was a short time, so it was not something I really like talk about, but I was there because I wanted to be there, and so I forced my way in, and sure enough, but then just right away, it just was like the commute was horrible. We bought a house here in West Salem. You know, from West Salem to get to Portland, it's an hour and 10 minutes. In November, you know, I was hydroplaning into my little Honda on the way back every night at 1 a.m. It just wasn't fun. You know, it was like, well, this is annoying. You know, this is not what I've been experiencing as of late. And then, so I kind of gave it a go in Salem, trying to find some spots to work at. J. James was still a place.
Yep.
You know, no offense to Miss Ritter, but you know, he didn't hire me, unfortunately. Who else was there was a couple guys. I even tried the old French place, Old French Bistro. No, what's it called?
Crooked House? No.
No, it was on Liberty. It's Lucky's now.
Wish
It
I
was a
could
long
make
time
the
ago.
name.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, couldn't get a job. Couldn't get a job in Salem,
Okay.
which was wild to me.
That is bad, especially with your pedigree, right?
Yeah, so I walked into Wild Pear, and the Ritters gave me a job, and Jessica and Cecilia gave me a job, and I worked there for a little while, trying to push them to open dinner, and they didn't want to leave this like 19-year-old in charge of their dinner service, and so I don't think I would have trusted myself then.
Even though others did.
Yeah, and just couldn't really figure it out. I even worked at the Willamette University for a little bit, trying to figure that out. It wasn't happening. It was very much like
When did you work at Willamette University?
it was 2005, like in January.
We
or
were there at the
February.
same time.
Yeah,
Get out of here.
No.
Really?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So
So, AJ might have been coming through there as a
I
swashbuckling
was a first-year
center
grad
back
student.
wannabe.
yeah.
That was
So
in there critiquing
I
his food,
installed the chef hired me. Chef Paul.
Yes.
Chef Paul hired me to
Yeah.
do the Mexican buffet.
Okay.
Because I hadn't had that before, and so they wanted to introduce that, and so I helped them, build the menu, and we did that, but after it was going for a couple of weeks, I was just like, well,
What's next?
yeah, this is not what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna make rice and beans and like chicken every day for you, and it's just it's not what it's not what
Yeah.
drives
fulfill
me.
your soul.
Yeah, it doesn't
Sure.
fulfill me.
All right.
And so my friend's up here now. He's working with me at Willamette, and we're just gonna go to the beach and do one last hurrah. Because I'm like, well, maybe I made the wrong move. Maybe I should have stayed back home in San Francisco and worked at some of the higher end restaurants. Michael Mina was doing stuff. There was all sorts of stuff happening in San Francisco, and I'm over here working in at Willamette Valley or Willamette University. So just really feeling down on myself, right?
Yeah.
And so we're gonna go to the beach, and we go through Dayton, and our car breaks down right there outside of McMinnville. And I have my chef knife in the back and everything, and we have a little bit of money. I'm like, well, you fix the car, I'll go into town and see what I can do just to hang out.
With
your
chef knife?
Yeah, I just grabbed my.
Yeah, make some money, right?
Well, not necessarily to make money, just to go check it out. I never had been in. Yeah, I had never been in this town, and it was a.
No, but when you're packing your chef knife, there's some motivation that is beyond just checking out the scenery.
And so I walk down the street. I see there's like a little French bistro, and then there's like some cool spots, Nick's Italian Cafe, and I'm like, wow, this is what everybody was talking about. Like, I had never been over here, and then I walk into this restaurant called La Rambla, and the chef and the owner are in the back yelling at each other, just like, and I asked them if they're needing anybody to help. And they asked me to come back that afternoon. Okay. And so, 2 weeks later, I'm the sous chef. 4 weeks later, I'm the executive chef there.
Whoa.
So,
and La Rambla is one of the better known restaurants. Other than Pura Vida, of course, in McMinnville. But I've eaten there with my wife. The paella is. Yeah.
So, I worked there. They had already had their opening chef. He left. They had already gone through 2 or 3 chefs at the time. But they were still new. They had only gone through one summer, gone through that winter. And now we're going in the spring, and things weren't really kind of vibing. He was trying to like put prime rib on the menu and like stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just he wasn't
Spanish restaurant.
Yeah, it just wasn't really flowing. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you know what? I could do Spanish really easy. And so I started creating some stuff, and surely enough, within the month I was in charge. As this 19, 20-year-old kid. Not knowing what the fuck I'm doing, but now I'm in charge of the kitchen again.
With your chef's knife in the back of your car.
Yeah.
I just got this picture.
Literally, what you're imagining.
Middle of the night, just being like.
It was the morning.
So in the morning, just like your car breaks down, and you're just like to your buddy, you're like, hey man, I got this, and you just pull out your knife. Like, I'm going to town right now.
Yeah. Well, we called some places, and it was like, oh, it's going to be a couple hours. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stay here and wait for the car. I'm going to go into town and see what's up.
Talk about being proactive.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. Like, I wasn't going to just, sit around and wait for something to happen. I was going to go find something.
Okay.
And, so I was there for a couple years. And Kathy, the owner, she's great. We still have a really close relationship. It was definitely like a mother figure, father, kid. Yep. Situation, because I was a kid, and whatever she wanted I'd do, because that's the relationship I felt, whereas probably grown-ups probably didn't really kind of find that very appealing. Yep. Yeah, and
so
like, wait,
so was she demanding then? Is that what you're saying?
Nah, I mean, she had her particular things, and she wanted to see certain things, and I was just I was very pleasing. I was very.
Well, you hadn't built that full chef ego yet.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did.
I think like an executive chef, I look at across the board as like a number 9. They're really hard to please. Yeah. Right on the soccer field, and I don't think you've grown into that number 9 yet.
No.
He's willing to backtrack and play.
Yeah, he's a number 8. He's like a Bradley.
I'm a number 7, number 8. Yeah,
sometimes playing offense and score a goal.
Yeah.
I would.
And that was even in soccer. That was like my position, right? I play half the game as goalkeeper, and then the second half first half, I'd play on the field as defense or midfield or forward.
Tell me you were Jorge Campos. Tell me you were in your goalie shirt.
And then if we were winning, they would throw me back at keep. And it was just like throughout high school, that was what we did. That's what it was. So I was just very good at all the things, and I just would do whatever the coach told me. Yeah. I wouldn't complain. Yeah. I would just do it.
So you're at La Rambla.
Yeah. This is 2006.
Okay.
Yes. And and then in 2006, I met my wife, Margarita. She was
La
Jefa. She was, we were really young.
Right, which means the boss lady, right?
The boss lady. She is the boss lady. We were really young. I was 19 only, and she was 18. So I met her when she was coming out of high school. So it was just really weird. Yeah. And but I kind of had already lived like half a life. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You had 20 years of work experience. In 7 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, and I was a chef at this place, and she didn't believe me. I was like, "You're just probably a dishwasher, a cook," and I'm like, Yeah, sure, whatever.
I'm actually more big time than that.
Yeah. And we're working, and we want to do something. I kind of get, at some point you kind of want to do something on your own, and I gave it a shot, and we tried to open something with like a shoestring budget. I wasn't even 21 yet. We called it Ricardo's Cocina Latina, right there down on 3rd Street in McMinnville. I went to OCC. They told me I couldn't get a liquor license because I wasn't 21 yet.
Yeah, and yet in the Bay Area, you could be serving drinks all day long.
Yeah. And so yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah. So I couldn't. We would do
couldn't open up?
BYOB. No, we opened.
Oh, you did.
We opened.
Okay.
And there was some like weird loophole where, as long as we served the food, you could bring your own booze. And so a lot of the locals really loved us for that. So we would have these crazy bottles of wine on the table from all these winemakers that would come and eat. And it was just like, it was kind of working. But, the 20-year-old me was like, why are we doing this? Yeah. Like, you and me are like working 70 hours a week. We're not making really any money. Like, how about we just like, shut it down? And it was a great experience, but it just wasn't the time.
Yep.
There was a lot of things were stacked against us.
Well, yeah, time period, right? This is before the Great Recession?
Yeah, it was already, had already happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So we were kind of on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. Everything was in the middle of it. You're right. We were right in the middle of it.
That was priced.
Yeah, because I was freaking out.
708.
Yeah, I was freaking out because I thought our house was going to be like upside down on everything. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't, thankfully. Salem was this weird pocket where things didn't happen like that. Mm-hmm. Some places, but not to the extent as like California.
Yeah.
Because I, was hearing from families back home that like they were losing their houses or they owed $800,000 on a $300,000 house, and it was nuts. And so yeah, so we folded. We were able to sell it at that time. But yeah, so didn't really go back into McMinnville for a while. But her parents lived there, so we would visit. But that was kind of it for a little bit, and I kind of focused on Salem. And I happened to run into opening here on High Street and State. I was going to be a French bistro, and that was kind of what I had trained for. And I called the chef, and we talked, and he had me try out for a couple of days. Like, he had me make a French onion soup in his apartment. He had me make a salad in his apartment, and he was like, go buy these ingredients and come over. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, man. Like, I don't have any money. What do you want me to do? Like, and so we would just, we would cook, and he really, really enjoyed my presence, and he really thought I could help him build this restaurant into what he was envisioning, and he was able to put me as the executive chef for opening of La Capitale, and so which is a great restaurant. Love that restaurant, and it was a great restaurant in Salem. I think it did really great. I think the time I spent in it was really great. I learned a lot more there. My mind was more.
What did you learn?
I actually learned how to run a real restaurant.
Okay.
Not just play restaurant.
Mm-hmm. So this was
like from the owner-operator side.
Yeah.
You weren't just playing a key role. You were now.
Yeah. I actually was learning and paying attention to things instead of just playing restaurant, right?
Yep.
Because even at La Rambla, right, I was just the chef. I got to be the creative one, and that's it.
Yep.
I didn't have to do the numbers.
Yep.
I didn't have to do anything else.
Yep.
Some scheduling, but that was about it. At La Cap, it was broader. I was in charge of things and had to report back and do things, and that was kind of what I needed. Because when I first opened my spot, I was like, wait, we got to pay all these bills? What do you mean insurance? What do you mean that? What do you mean? It's just like crazy, right? And that I was a little more in tune with what was happening and what needed to happen, or expectations, meeting, numbers, et cetera, right? And so we were able to grow that into 2 restaurants. We opened a Spanish restaurant next door, which was a really great experience to be part of 2 openings in a short amount of time. It really gave me a lot of confidence, a lot of like hands-on experience, because I was able to help with, a little bit of the design, the menu building from the get-go, pricing, all the things, right? And it's opening restaurants is not for the lighthearted. It takes a lot of oneself. And yeah, so I'm probably on my 9th restaurant now. So you can tell by my face all the gray hair.
So when does Chicha come into play?
Yeah. So fast
Well,
forward.
hold on. So first it's Pura Vida.
Yeah,
right?
first is Pura Vida.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So there we couldn't. I loved it, but it was time to go. I had done what I needed to do there. I'd worked there for long enough, and so it was time for me to leave the restaurant and just kind of start looking for more growth or whatever.
How old are you at this point in time?
23. So I had just had my first child.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just had landed. So it's just a lot of stress, new stresses in life, right? So it's like, well, now I'm a new dad. All these things are kind of matter now. So I'm in the Valley again and working in Dayton or in Dundee, working at the Dundee Hotel. There's this restaurant called, I can't even remember the name right now. That's not really that important, but it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. I thought I was going to go there and learn a lot more, but it was just kind of funny because I go there and they're like asking me questions on how to do things and this and that. And I was like, I came here to learn under you guys, and you guys are pushing me to help out with this and that, and so. But I made some really good relationships there and that are still standing, which is great. Yeah. But that kind of showed me that I was like, oh, okay, well, I need to do something on my own, like on my own. So I started kind of like some catering on the side, catering for some wineries there in the local area. I was the chef for Harvest for Northwest Wine Co. one harvest. I was able to save enough money to buy a food cart.
Okay.
So we put this food cart in McMinnville, and it wasn't even a cart. It was probably the size of this table. And so it was a food push cart. And
talk about starting small.
Push cart.
yeah. And so it was me working in the mornings. So it was Taco Los Muertos, we called it. So we started in the morning. So I would work the morning shift, and then I would cater at night. And then just to kind of keep up with the living expenses that we had now, because it was a lot, right? Having a new child, and Maggie was doing her thing, and I was just trying to do my part. And but that was the first time that it was like something again was mine, and I got to do the things that I wanted to do the way I wanted to do them, and it went well. 1 year, I probably was only there for we only opened for a year and a half. Because then an opportunity came down the street to open Pura Vida. And that was kind of, serendipitous too, because it was an artist was in there already looking at the location. Okay. And I didn't have the money to open it on my own. And she was very willing and able to put money into this restaurant as long as we kept the artsy thing part of it, which was really weird at the time. But I went with it because I needed the money. And she wasn't going to use the kitchen. So I was like, well, how about we go 50-50, right? Let's open a restaurant and we'll put your art in the corner. And day one, it was weird because it was tables and then art and then stuff from Costa Rica. And so it was just, it was really weird. So we opened Pura Vida in 2013. Okay. And that was just the start of a lot of things, was very fortunate to had worked with a lot of people that still wanted to work with me in the past. So I brought in a lot of cooks and front of house staff that I had worked with in the past, and really made the first year really easy and hard at the same time because you're dealing with all these people that and you can't really tell them anything, and you're still a young guy, right? So, yeah, but it worked out. It worked out really well. I was able to buy her out after the first year and get rid of the art stuff, which was very beneficial for us because that's when we took off.
Okay. So you got rid of the art. Now the food scene is all you have.
Now that's all we are, and McMinnville really embraced us after that. That first year though was a struggle. It took us a year to kind of really figure out the menu, what we were really doing. People didn't know what we were with all the stuff in it. It looked like a clothing store inside with tables inside.
That sends the wrong message.
Yeah, it wasn't appealing.
But that's also Pura Vida is Costa Rican slang, right?
Yeah. So in the other owner at the moment, she was Costa Rican. So that's kind of where we kind of vibe together. She was Latin, I was Latin. Yeah. I was like, well, I could make a lot of Central American food. I don't want to have it be Costa Rican food because Costa Rica doesn't really have a robust food scene. Yep. And so we kind of kept it like that. And so we made food all the way from Peru all the way to northern Mexico. So that was kind of our jam. Yeah. And so we made it more of our motto. pure life, right?
Sure.
You know, eat well, live well.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
just specifically.
Yeah, and
So we gotta talk about chicha.
yeah, yeah.
I feel like before we do,
Yeah.
we gotta break out these beers
Yeah.
right here on the table, because this chela is like one of my favorite beers from Chicha Brewing, and it's Friday, so I think why not?
Happy Friday. Cheers.
Hey.
Happy Friday. Cheers, guys. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers to Kathleen as well. She is Kathleen Kelly, our wonderful producer on the show. Back there, we got a beer for her after we're done here, too, if she wants it.
Yeah, so Pura Vida happened, and then me and a couple friends, my compadre and Matt Decopoulos, we were just messing around in his garage making beer, and I'd bring over the food, and then we'd like have breakfast burritos, or I'd make tacos, or I'd make carnitas there while he was making beer, and so it's just really cool stuff. And I was just like, this could work in Salem, I think, guys. And at the time, I still had my child, and he was getting older, but you couldn't take him to a lot of the bars in town or a lot of the breweries in town. They were all 21 and over. And so I'm like, well, I'm a family-oriented individual. It's not like I just leave my kid at home and I go out. It's like we have to.
In Montana, we just put the kiddie seat at the bar.
Yeah,
And I never understood Oregon.
You want to. I want to.
Getting judged for bringing your kid to the bar. Right?
Yeah, I want to take my kid with me, and so there wasn't a lot of family-friendly breweries at the time.
Okay.
And so I was like, man, what would be great? Like if we had like this Hispanic themed brewery restaurant, and Salem already kind of has a low bar for beer. So like we don't even have to make good beer. You know what I mean?
7 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
Yeah. And
be the top of
so
the pack.
we convinced ourselves, and we started Pura Vida in 2016, 17. Had some issues, so opened in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. And
How'd you come up with the name?
So Chicha the original Chicha is spelled Chicha. So it is the first fermented beverage of the Americas. It's a corn-based ferment, which was here way before beer was even made.
Like indigenous people, like Mayans, potentially were using that.
Yeah,
right?
and it was a communal thing. So it would be a community-based event, right? So we would all sit around, get this big old thing of corn, we'd all chew it, spit in a bucket. And then they would ferment. And then you'd have this strong, potent thing that you would add either pineapple juice or pineapples to kind of give it some flavoring to have it be digestible,
Have you ever thought about trying to reenact that?
Yeah, I've.
'Cause I might be in. I might be in. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of
Just
people out there who would
like
really
50
like that
people
idea.
deep, right? Everybody chewing. But then do we do like this line of everybody like brushes their teeth before? Like, do we check everybody's breath before we start? Or,
that's the
or is that the
parent-
fun? Like, and they're like, hey, stinky breath could be good for the beer. I don't
I
know.
think it's just you have to drink at least 1 or 2 chelas first, and or
yeah.
something else like tequila.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if we need the toothbrush. We just need tequila.
So why did going back to the name? So the name was CHI.
Yeah.
Is that right?
And in the moment,
yeah.
there was a lot of Latinx movement happening. And so kept seeing it, and I was with it because it was just, we're people too, and we want to be, distinguished a certain way. And, the younger crowd kind of felt like they were not being represented in a proper way. And I was still part of that kind of younger crowd. I was 25, 26.
You're still part of that younger crowd.
Yeah, I guess so, right? And so, and so in Mexico, though, the X is used a lot in a lot of names as a, Xochimilco, Chilpancingo. There's a lot XI.
Yep.
And so I was like, well, I was just doodling and just did it, and because we were looking for a mark. We always got to find a way to kind of when you're making stand out, when you're making your business plan, when you're shooting around all these ideas, right? What can I trademark? What can I put a trademark on? What can I, so we did all that homework, and we were able to, kind of see this thing through, and Pioneer Trust was willing to give us some money, which was crazy because we were like some 25-year-old kids literally walking into a bank with a handshake loan.
Which honestly, Pioneer Trust, they helped me out on a lot of loans when I first came into this community as well. And when you say handshake loans, it's like normally there's it's just it's harder, right? But when you have a business plan and they believe in you,
Yeah.
it's like, and you need banks like that.
Yeah.
Like, they're the lifeblood of this town, I think, with especially with entrepreneurial type of businesses.
Yeah, I definitely think any other regular institution, I don't mean regular, but like any other institution, wouldn't have even considered us, right? We didn't have the background. Matt wasn't even Matt was a home brewer. He was about to be a real-time brewer. We did have efficiencies in some things. I had Pura Vida at the time. I had, we had a couple properties that we could,
You had collateral.
Collateral,
More than a handshake.
You could
They had
leverage.
you.
yeah. So they had us. They had us
You're in a
good.
good
But
spot.
so fortunately, we were to pay that loan off real quick and be in a good position. And then, just were able to move to your location after I got a call from AJ Nash.
Right, Chicha North.
Sold me on this beautiful 7,500 square foot, ready to go turnkey location. Landlord's awesome. You needed.
Yeah.
It was like just
Only one of those things.
sign now, sight unseen, and I'm like, what? So
I am a very salesy human, but I wasn't that bad.
No.
But no, you know what it was it was a perfect canvas to throw a party. And what I could see in your growth plan in West Salem is that the biggest thing holding you back was space to throw your parties. Like
Yeah.
you grow into the fishbowl that you're given, and the only thing that was holding you back was your fishbowl size.
Yeah.
And it took a little longer than I think you and I both thought it might for that to take hold, but I've been to a couple Saturday nights recently, and you throw like a regular party.
yeah, no, we have a great time over there. I'm really blessed to have a team that believes in what we're doing. Stands by the culture, the beer, and the food. Because that's if you don't believe in your bosses or in the company, that's it's easy not to care. And so,
What's your secret there? How do you like? What are the little things you do to create a culture that your team follows? How do you lead that?
yeah, and I don't know if I could really like tell you what that is because it's just who I am. Everywhere I've been very fortunate, very blessed to have people that maybe if they don't like me, you probably shouldn't be here, and because I'm not likable,
That's true.
Well, here, let me tell you. Here's what I see from the outside in, right? And we're business partners at
Yeah.
this stage, so I'm going to be very critical but very open, right?
Yeah.
Like you put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
You show up, right? And so those are two things: putting in the effort and showing up and being present, and then you have a calmness when there are storms. And if there's one thing I learned in opening my first restaurant,
Yep.
right, outside of how much harder it was, I thought I understood hard. Now I understand hard.
No, yeah.
It is a 6-week training camp, and I thought it was not a 6-week. Like the 6-week boot training camp.
Yeah.
It's 6 month.
6 months.
I thought it was 6 weeks, right, or 8 weeks, and it was 6 months.
You
and
think?
I'm still,
Yeah, you thought you could take a crash course and be fine. No.
But what I've appreciated about you, and I think your calmness, right, in that storm is something that's uncommon in the industry. Showing up and hard work is almost it's a prerequisite, right?
Yeah, you have to do that already.
But you do
if you could
good
keep,
boss things.
yeah, if you could keep it under control,
Yep.
keep the tempers down, not react right away.
Yep.
Reacting is fine, but not reacting in the moment, and taking those things in and being able to go back and, hey team, let's fix this, or pulling somebody side to side, like, hey, that's not gonna work, man. Let's try and figure that out. And but you also, those people have to be receptive to you too. So if they're not, then there's a problem, right? Then you have to figure that out and work through that with that human, or see that human out, because those things will just impede in the whole business, because it turns into a bigger thing eventually.
Well, my favorite part about your leadership style that I've seen is you're in the van with the selfie going to the beer fest at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You are on the line, right? You are like, you still jump into every role. You didn't like rise up and be like giving orders down to that role.
Yeah.
You with joy.
Yeah.
Jump into those roles, and that leadership, I think, is what spoke to me, right? When I
Yeah, even like today. Today was a super busy day, and this morning I was canning with the brewer It's a one-man crew over there. We can cella, and we were canning 505, our fresh hatch chili beer. And but I'm just there, putting boxes together. We're talking about future stuff, about current stuff, but it gives me time with him. But I'm also there, just not standing there. We're doing the
It's a working meeting. You don't have a meeting with a sit down and a table. It's a working meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then we had to shoot a video, and I had to do the voiceover. But then also, we made a mess, and I'm the first one with the mop bucket out. It was my fault because it was my idea to smash 2 beers and still cold them, And so I was like, you know what? I'll do the mopping, but let's just do this. Let's do this shoot. Let's see what happens, right? And so, yeah, people more receptive to you if you're willing to put in your part too.
Well, and what I loved about meeting you and Maggie, I remember that first meeting when I brought my wife down, and we got to meet you at West Salem. And we got to, I think it might have been during Chicha Fest.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I just remember just the culture you brought, the energy you brought, you love talking to people, you love being around people. This is not a business where if you don't like people, you're in the wrong business here.
It's a lifestyle.
If you're not in it,
you're done.
Exactly. And I could feel that from you. And I was like, I really want you to be a part of 45th Parallel because we have this big space, and it's you were the perfect tenant, I think, for us because of your culture, because of your energy, that vibe. I was like, you're gonna attract such a great crowd. Yeah. I'm curious, I have a lot of questions, but I want to talk about West Salem really quickly. What went down there, and we don't have a whole lot of time to chat, but I think everybody in Salem would love to hear at least kind of your sentiment there.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an unfortunate situation. Just not being able to get past some certain things with that current landlord. That building had some issues in the past, and we fixed those early on in 2013 or 2017. Blackburn, if you guys don't know, he owned the building then. Excuse me. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, we're drinking Cella.
Yeah, and there was some stuff that had to go down, and there was some lead in the building, and we had to get it covered up. Thankfully, we weren't open yet. If not, that could have been just a death kiss in itself, right? And so we were able to work with Blackburn, and he got it all fixed. He got it to the point where DEQ gave us the green light to be able to operate, but it also came with a stack, yay high of rules and things that we couldn't do in that building. Unfortunately, the new landlord and owner of the building bypassed that and kind of went on and did some things in the building that were definitely a no-no, and released some lead into the building. And just, we were on vacation and we came back and we swabbed and realized that there was some presence of lead. And a little bit of lead is not just like any poison, right? It's not like a little poison is not going to do you harm. It's still poison. Mm-hmm. You're right. And when you're
serving food,
and especially beverages. In the position that we're in, right, with my employees alone, right, I couldn't fully feel comfortable knowing that these guys could be tracking the stuff to their house where their baby's crawling on the floor, putting his hand in his mouth, right? And then if this kid was sick 6 years down the road, I would have to live with that. There's no way I could be okay with that, right? So we made the decision to close immediately and to try and figure something out. Unfortunately, there was no back and forth. It was just that's your problem, and that wasn't our problem. It was a building problem that had to get fixed together, and unfortunately, we weren't the one that caused the issue. But there's also never going to be any anybody to admit to that, right? So it's just a really unfortunate situation. We were able to terminate the lease and leave, but it was very abrupt and it was very quick. And it's just really sad because we definitely loved our community in West Salem. I think West Salem really loved to have us around. My kids still go to school over there.
Another's a good real estate guy.
Yeah,
I think he's going to now try to make sure that you're very soon back in West Salem.
yeah, and a lot of people,
The community wants you back. Yeah.
yeah, the community definitely wants us back, and obviously I have some relationships still
Yeah.
with some friends at this table
Yeah.
that ideally we could figure something out down the road. But right now we're still kind of in like cleanup mode.
Wait. We're gonna raise the level up. We don't got a lot of time left in the podcast. And I want to say, do you think the J.C. Penney roof is close enough to West Salem to bring your friends?
No, the bridge is a deal. The bridge is a deal.
so
West
we need
Salem
to-
is
we
West
need to.
Salem. There's a
Build a new bridge. Is that what you're saying?
Need a walking bridge
Directed
to the roof.
arcade.
I lived in West Salem for 15 years, and I know it's like West Salem is West Salem. There's
Hey, okay, ready? This is gonna be fun. Nat picked on me earlier, so I'm gonna pick on him. So Chicha North has this like bare piece of dirt,
Yep.
and that landlord just can't figure out what to do with it.
Nope,
We're
he's
not
so
gonna discuss
indecisive.
if
He
that
doesn't-
landlord's
he
at the
doesn't-
other end of the table or
yeah.
not. But I'm just like curious with you, which is a guy who throws a party, right, and who has Chicha Fest. How do we help him with this piece of dirt? Like, what can he do that helps us throw better parties? Because clearly he's got something stuck in his system here. He can't get anything out on that dirt, and
Yeah.
we want to help him.
There's a lot of ideas out there. I heard. There's a lot of ideas. I can't really.
Editing the whole last part of this episode.
I really can't like pinpoint what is needed there.
In that cello.
I know, right?
Confidence. Misplaced confidence.
But there's something needed. I don't know what exactly, but there's something needed. I mean, there's something.
I know what's needed. I'll tell you right now.
I think something to bring like more kids around.
The
I
funny
think.
part about when AJ asks the question, he's not looking for an answer. He's
Yeah,
ready to answer it.
here he has
I know what's
answered.
needed.
Here he has answer.
So here's what I got. Ready? I think what we need there is some sort of a structure that can be used for something like futsal, something like soccer, something that brings kids around. And that does not have to be, I mean, Salem Indoor is a good example, right, of what happened in Salem, but it doesn't have to be that big. And then it needs to bring a party, meaning how do we give parents what we want, which is like a second level deck while our kids are down there, where we can like do adult things and they can do kid things. And there's a deficiency for space for families to gather. There's a deficiency for that culture that brings people together, and alcohol does not always need to be at the center of it.
It doesn't.
And
It definitely doesn't.
but what's interesting is sometimes alcohol like appeases uncle or dad, and it still
Creates the party. Yeah, it creates a bigger crowd coming. Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
It could also have its downsides, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. Is that? I think what AJ's asking, like, we all love soccer, right?
Yes.
Like building something around like the game, on that piece of dirt, would that be, entertaining? Would that be?
Here's
good for
another
the
one.
community?
Here's another one. Oh, I just came up with it. Thank you, Chella. What if, and granted, this is a big what if, but same thing, kids and families, less expense, because a building
Yes.
is 18 months and it's millions of dollars. It doesn't even matter if it's a steel kit. If you're in the city of Salem, it's just, there's a process, right? What if there is a covered pergola?
I was just thinking
It's a
about
pergola. And there is a
like outdoor field.
big
Like,
screen.
Yeah. Oh.
No, like the old school drive-in, a big screen. And what's interesting about a big screen is this literally just two poles, right? Like, and I'm pretty sure with our relationships, we
He
can
has
go find
plans
those
somewhere
poles
for this. I
right?
swear to God.
It's
He has to
so-
have plans somewhere.
A big screen allows you to watch sports.
Not that I've seen it.
We could watch Timbers games. We could watch whatever.
Yeah.
And I think just a covered pergola that allows for let's even encroach. Okay, so now I'm going to encroach on Ricky on the mic. Let's say that clearly Chicha Brewing has all the taps and they control the bar. Maybe there's room for 6 food trucks outside as long as Chicha's food truck is right next to Chicha's bar, because you have to do that to be open, right? And we know whose tacos you're going to be eating. But outside of that, you could bring an indoor-outdoor feel with a big screen, with food, family, friends, And I'm just thinking Chicha Fest 52 weeks a year. That's all I want. Like, is that too much to ask?
That's kind of what.
Have we gotten off topic here?
Yeah.
Tim, you can hit AJ with a paddle. There's a $20 paddle. Smack him right now. There's 20. He owes us 20. Put it in the kit.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's. I think something family oriented. I mean, we're very family based.
Yes.
We're very family based, obviously, but like something to bring the kids out, like something that. I mean, I know half the time that I do anything for myself now is very kid focused. I have an 8-year-old that if I can't keep her entertained, it's like it's gonna be a miserable day. So it's just like, and I know that's the fact. That's the case for a lot of other, parents.
Yeah. Well, I think with this building right here, the JCPenney building, that's something we're talking about, right? Trying to figure out what makes sense for families and what makes sense for the Salem community, and we've engaged a lot of people in the community on that. But and walking down the stairs today, I was like, "Gosh, Ricky, it would be great if we had Chicha at that front corner on the first floor."
Yeah, no, it's there's possibilities out there. There's a lot of possibilities out there. It's just like I was trying to refer to earlier. Like right now, we're kind of in cleanup mode this half year, just trying to get things cleaned up from West Salem. Get our stuff straight over at North and in Eugene, and kind of see what happens here. 2026. And see if we start moving in a certain direction with some other projects. So.
Well, tell us a little bit about Chicha Fest. I think that's coming up, right?
Yeah.
That's the party where I met you, so I think you gotta promote that. Right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. So September 13th at the 45th Parallel parking lot.
Wait, hold on. September 13th. I think that's a special day for somebody.
Is that somebody?
That's my birthday party.
It's
called Chicha Fest this year.
Wait,
Happy birthday, AJ.
Clink grand opening is
I'm gonna do
happening that
brunch at
weekend as
Clink,
well?
and then I'm headed to Chicha Fest. I've got a full day of whatever I want, and that's my two
See
things.
you there. I can't wait.
See you there.
Okay, so Chicha Fest is happening
It's
on
happening.
Saturday,
September 13th. The morning will start kind of like around noon. We'll have a little mini car show outside with some lowriders. We'll have some vendors. We'll have a really cool DJ with Reyes PDX. He'll be throwing out the jams to, just daytime stuff. You kind of walk around and do all the things. I think we're gonna have some face coloring for the kiddos, and then 5 o'clock we're switching over to a paid event. $15 at the door. Kids are free, and it's gonna be a lucha libre event inside. So we're gonna do full on high flying, masks on, lucha.
Will there be like the actual wrestling mat in there too?
Yeah. The wrestling mat's gonna be inside,
That
and
sounds fun.
so standing room only. So $15 at the door.
Wait.
You can buy your tickets now on Eventbrite.
Do you have a leotard, and are you gonna rip off a shirt?
Yeah. So I might have to be up there a little bit.
If you had a lucha libre name, what would it be?
That's a great question.
Rico, it'd have to go with that, right? We'd have to do Rico Suave, Yeah, real smooth, right?
Yeah.
All the smooth moves. Yeah.
It's Rigo Suave moves out. I was trying to take a different culinary appeal to that one.
Yeah.
But, Rico Chefe, but no.
Yeah.
We know Maggie's name.
It's Suave. It's Suave.
The Hefa, yeah. So
Okay.
And then we'll also have a band inside. So between matches, we'll do like 30 minutes of music, and then a match, 30 minutes of music, and then a match. So it's going to be a really fun event, for Salem. I really hope that people come out. Also celebrating Mexican Independence Day, which is on the 15th. It's Tuesday. It's kind of hard to celebrate for everybody, so that's why we kind of tied it in with that day. And our anniversary. So we're being open 8 years now, which is kind of nuts.
Congrats, man.
Kind of nuts.
That's a big.
Thanks for
moment
bringing
there.
fun to Salem.
Yeah.
You're a beacon, man. Thank
Honestly,
you.
yeah, no, and great food and just great energy.
Yeah, no, and we're trying to be here, obviously for the long run. I love Salem. I tell people all the time that how lucky I am to live here. Because we have the coast right there. As a chef, it's just like a plethora of everything, right? I mean, being able to make the beer that we make and have the hop field so close. On the chef side, have the produce and have the chanterelles that come up in September, October, right? And have the fish that we get to fish out here. My kids love salmon, and being able to have that around most of the year, right? It's crazy. It's just really, really blessed to be in this area, make the friends that I've made, and just really looking forward to kind of keep going.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You are just such an awesome entrepreneur, and we love your food, love your energy. Excited for Chicha Fest this year, and just can't wait to see what new things you come up with in the coming years for Salem.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me and on the podcast, and looking forward to seeing some friendly faces on Saturday.
Oh, we'll be there celebrating AJ.